If you have the function f of x minus 3, f of x equals 4x minus 3, what is the value of f of 10? So how would you do this on the SAT? What would you do with that 10? Yes. Thank you, Zainab. I appreciate you because I was just going to sit here and wait. So we're just going to put that 10 where you see x. So you see where it says 4x minus 3. So 4, and then we're putting our 10 right here. 4 times 10 minus 3. So pick up a calculator if you don't have one. Type that in. What we choosing? Who picked A? Who picked B? I agree. 4 times 10 is 40. 40 minus 3 is 37. All right, take out your notes. Today we're going to talk about a cube root. A cube root. So go to page 7 in your note packet. So the big difference is, notice that now in the little hook or the little armpit, we actually have a number and it's a 3. So when we put a number in the hook, now it's a cube root, not a square root. But the thing is, A, H, and K does not change. So A, H, and K will still do the exact same things that it did when it was a square root. So who remembers, what do we say happens when A is negative? Who remembers, what do we say? Reflex. So let's write that down. When A is bigger than 1, does it stretch or compress? Stretch. And when it's between 0 and 1, it compresses. So that's our A value. H is still going to be under the hood, and we still have to flip it. When H is positive, it moves the graph which direction? To the right. And when it's negative, it's going to move it to the left. Good job. K is always in the back. It's not under the hood, it's in the back. When it's positive, it moves it up. And when it's negative, it's going to move it graph down. So the thing about A, H, and K, we have a couple different functions that we're going to graph this semester. Exponential, logs, rationals. But A, H, and K, what they do does not change. Any questions about our transformations and what they do? All right, so now let's look at a cube root. So now we're going to make our parent table for y equals x to the power of 3. So we're going to start off with -2 to +2. Now, if you take -2, I'm just going to help you out. If you take -2 and multiply it 3 times, you actually get -8. And if you take -1 times -1 times -1, you get -1. 0 times 0 times 0 is 0. 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. Now let's go ahead and graph this over here on our grid. Let's see what this looks like. That's y equals x to the power of 3. All right, so now let's figure out what does the inverse look like. So in order to do that, we're going to switch it. So we got my x and y. So what we're going to do is all of these numbers, they're now going to be our y values. So let's go ahead and put those 5 numbers under y. So that would be a -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. And then all of these numbers, they're going to lock in under x. This is your parent table for a cube root function. So let's go ahead and graph it. What does it look like when we flip the table? These 3 numbers are the same. So it looks like it turned. That is what the graph will look like. Now, the good thing about a cube root, when you put a 3 in the elbow, the domain and range will never change. The domain and range is going to be all real numbers. So if there's a 3 in the elbow, we already know our domain and range. No matter what it is, no matter what transformations, a cube root has a domain and range of all real numbers. Because if we look at the graph, it goes both directions. It goes left and right. And it moves up and down. All right, so we're going to do 3 graphs today. And we're going to finish out graphing. And you will have a chance to finish your homework and be finished with it. Done. All right, so now let's go to make sure I'm not leaving anybody behind. Let's go over here, and I want you to graph the parent. This is the parent table. These numbers down here, this is my new parent table because there's a 3 in the elbow. So I'll write it up here. This is our parent table. I'm just rewriting the same points that you see at the bottom. All right, let's go ahead and graph that. That's our parent. So when we talk about transformations, we're always comparing it to this. This is where we start. We can also fill in our domain and range. Because there's a 3 in the elbow, we already know the answer to that. So we can just fill that in right away. Okay, let's not get our head down. Let's sit on up straight. Because once the head go down, that means we going to sleep. So we're going to just sit on up. Sit on up straight. All right, so now let's look at this one here. And let's find our A, H, and K. I'm not going to be here long. And then you can put your head down. So A, this 3, that's not A. Remember, that's just a little bitty number that's in the elbow. What is A? What's the number in front of the root? 1. So let's put a 1 right here. H is under the hood, and you flip the sign. So it would be a positive 2, which is going to move it right 2. We can write that down. K is in the back, which is a 1, which is going to move it up 1. All right, so now we're just going to do our transformations to our table. See, the process doesn't change. The only thing that changed is our parent table. So we're going to add our H to X. So let's go ahead, pick up your calculators. Add 2 all the way down. And your Y values, you're multiplying by A, which is 1, and adding 1. All right, let's go ahead and see what we got and graph it. After this, we have 2 more, and then we're done. Done for today. Done for the week. All right, go ahead and check. Make sure I did that right. Who agrees with my 5 points? So I had -6, -1, 1 0, 2 1, 3 2, and 10 3. Thumbs up if you have the same thing. Let's make sure I'm good. All right, let's go ahead and graph it out. And that's what it would look like. It's kind of hard to see, but if you compare the red graph to the blue graph, the red graph to the blue graph moved right 2 and up 1. Any questions? All right, let's do it 2 more times. Let's go to the next one. Look at example 10. Go ahead and graph the parent. So example 10, not 10, sorry, I skipped 10. Go to 11. Go to the next page. Go to example 11. All right, let's graph our parent. Fill in our domain and range. All right, so what's the A value? Excuse me, what's the A value in this example? The number in front of the root is what? 0.5. Is that going to make it stretch or compress? Compress. What is H? H is always under the hood. So it's under the hood. And you flip the sign. So it would be a positive 1, which is going to move the graph right 1. Then there isn't a number in the back of the house. That's what's 0. K is 0. All right, so let's do our transformations. We're going to add that 1 to all of these numbers over here. And we're going to multiply A by 0.5. And I'm going to put the plus 0, but you don't need to put that in the calculator, because we know adding 0 doesn't have any effect. But I just don't want you to forget that you're always adding K. So go ahead and pick up your calculators, find your new 5 points. Something wrong with it? Is it broken? Oh, you can on the back of it. You can reset it if you want to. You just gotta take the thing off and hit that button with your pencil, and it'll pull it for you. Okay, so this is what I got for my table. Go ahead, check it out. Make sure that's what you got too. So my first point was -7, -1. And then it was 0, -1/2, or -0.5. And then 1, 0, 2, 0.5, and 9, 1. Is that what you got too, Daniela? You got that too? That's it on up, y'all. Okay, so when you graph it, it should look like this. And I don't know, can you tell that the green graph looks like it's flatter? It's flatter, it's compressed. If you compare it to the red graph, the green graph is like if you take your little fingers and you pinched it down, it's compressed. It's flattened. And that is number 11. All right, one more and we are finished. Go ahead, start number 12. Graph the parent, fill in your domain and range. Okay, so this one has 4 transformations. Somebody on this side of the room. What's A? -2. Because it's negative, it's going to make the graph reflect. And because it's a 2, it's also going to stretch. Okay, let me look on this side. What's H? -3, -2. H is under the hood, flip the sign. So it would be a -2, which is going to make it go left 2. All right, back to this side. What's K? What is it? Down 3. Okay, so let's finish this on out. Pick up your calculators. We have to add the -2, which is H, to all of these numbers. And we have to multiply the Y values by your A and subtract 3. All right, so take a minute and get your order pairs. All right, go ahead, check your answers against that. So Babacar, did you get that too? You get those same numbers? All right, go ahead, graph it out. So this one is reflected. It's going to look flipped. So then -3, down 1, -2, down 3, -1, down 5, -6, down 7. So it's going to look something like this. And that is a cube root. All right, go ahead, take out your homework real quick. Everybody take out homework 1. I want you to fill in something. Remember, homework 1 for full credit is due by next Tuesday.